Can you hear me? Let's find out. I think you can. Alright, so these guys are playing random sets, and it's Monday, so it's pretty much as dead as possible in here. So I figured I'd stream it. Tom's actually just played me in an 8-ball set, and he played pretty good, and he honestly deserved to win, but just because he deserved to win doesn't mean you will, especially when you play a good player. And he had a skid on the match ball, and I came back to win 3 in a row from there. Or was it 4? 3? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes you do everything right and still lose. It's just how it goes. So this should be pretty interesting. Tom just played on this table, like I said. Curtis was kind of like just banging the balls, waiting for us to finish. So I think, you know, there will be a little bit of Tom having the speed down quicker. Of course, Curtis is probably the stronger player, but it's race to 7. I mean, you know, like, Curtis does not have to win. Especially in the short race. And Tom, you know, Tom has his moments of playing really well. It's just that he doesn't play a ton, so we all know how that goes. I would actually say that when Tom's playing a lot, he's definitely playing above his Fargo. His biggest issue is usually just like miss a ball and go on tilt. And that will kind of like be his demise. So if he can stay cool, calm, and collected, and maybe Curtis makes a couple of mistakes. Like the table's playing pretty quick right now. You know, it's nice and dry in here, and the AC's on. If yeah, we'll see what happens. This is a big game right here. Obviously, Tom would like to keep Curtis behind as long as possible. That's what I'm saying about the speed getting them. Of course, Curtis is going to be real comfortable here. This is basically his home room now. He's been playing a lot here, and I think he's pretty comfortable with the equipment. Plus, the equipment here, if you haven't been in a while, we've made a ton of changes since March. Everything is playing really nice and consistent, so it's easy to, you know, feel confident behind the ball and whatever. But you still got to put the balls in the pocket, and he left Tom a little funny, but I'm not saying this is a hanger out by any means. He's got options. He can try and slow roll this in the side, which I disagree with. He can go 3 rails around the 9. He can stun over and play the 9 in the same corner side pocket as where the cue ball is now. He's got options. Try to pull up Facebook. Oh, he went in the side and went back. That's pretty good. So that's how we held it with outside English, so that's an option. Nice to see you too, Will. Sorry I didn't get to chat with you very much. I didn't realize how tired I was until I went home, laid down, and didn't wake up for friggin' 12 hours. So he hit that one pretty slow. I think it might have even rolled out off on him a little bit, but that's kind of what happens when you hit the ball slow. And like I said, the out was no gimme. You know, Curtis could have left him dead straight there, and it would have been a lot easier for him to get on the 9. So people will say, oh, you know, there's no luck in call save 10 ball, and that's just not true. I mean, sometimes the guy misses and leaves you a shot. You absolutely have to shoot it, and it's tough. So I was a little behind there watching the wrong monitor like a noob, but it's all good. I want to talk about a couple of tournaments we got coming up this weekend and next weekend. So maybe I'll do some camera angles in a little bit, but I'm going to take a moment to bring up a couple of flyers and talk about what we got coming up. If you're a 530 or under player and you want to play 8-ball, this Sunday we have, it's looking like it's going to end up being 32 players. I think I'm going to -1 the first 2 rounds of the winner's side. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had actually just played a ton of pools I was playing like Ashley all last weekend really late, and then I played Ben, and then I just went to snookers, and then I played I was just so tired. I mean, it was nice. I haven't slept a solid 8 hours of REM sleep in like 2 or 3 weeks, so I realized why I wasn't playing that good. Plus, playing in unfamiliar rooms is tricky. The equipment was different. There was a lot of different ball sets, which was a little frustrating to me, but it is what it is. You gotta adjust. Of course, I have really strong opinions about ball sets particularly. I feel like it's a pretty straightforward thing for any room owner to get the same ball sets for the rooms. They don't need a lot of knowledge to do that. Balls are relatively cheap compared to how long they'll last. And I see a lot of rooms that have great tables. Maybe they have brand new diamond tables or brand new $8,000 tables, but for some reason they have $20 balls, and it just doesn't add up for me. Hold on one second. And so I'm not trying to rag on any rooms, which might sound like I'm being a snob or something. I'm not. I'm only saying this because in the past 5 or so years, hanging out at Amazin Billiards, I've been able to acquire a lot of knowledge about equipment and balls, and I realize that not everybody knows this stuff. So I kind of want to just put the information out there where, like, if you have a room and you feel like the balls are bad, you know, reach out to anyone, really. I mean, they sell balls after tournaments for cheap. You can get a dealer price from a friend. Or you can even buy balls every couple of years and sell them and then, you know, cut the cost of the balls in half. I mean, balls should really be replaced pretty often, and it's just constantly overlooked. And it's such a simple thing to do that's going to go so far. Like, when I go to a room, I see the tables themselves play a little different. I know perfectly well how hard it is to get tables to play the same, especially if you have older Brunswicks. So I don't really fault anyone for that, but when I see, you know, cloth isn't changed at the same time, balls aren't new or the same, or even the sets aren't even the same within the sets, I feel like that's just unacceptable. And until the pool community kind of like says, hey, this is bogus and we know that you can do better, then I don't think it's going to change. So that's why I bring up these topics. You know, I mean, just put it into perspective. You can get a dealer price on some Aramith Measle ball sets from a couple years ago for under $200. You could probably change the balls out every year and sell them for what you got them for and have free balls. So I just feel like, yeah, it's really frustrating to drive to any tournament and pay money and then just be playing on really bad equipment, you know? And again, I don't really give any room owner a hard time about tables so much because they're so difficult, but it's really easy to change all the cloth on the tables at the same time so they all play similar speed. Make sure all the balls are the same, like that's the bare minimum. And for whatever reason, this in our sport, which is often treated like a game and not a true sport, it just doesn't exist. And I actually said this to someone, and they said, oh, well, this is, you know, a family-owned place. And I'm like, well, it's not really an excuse. You know, I mean, I see this in a lot of places, and it's not. I'm not ragging on any one room or really giving anyone a hard time. I'm just saying, hey, this is how you can do it to save money and have great equipment. I would say in commercial use, or, you know, probably, it really depends on prime, you know. I mean, we have this thing at the room called like a ball buster, and it's basically like a plastic circle that you put the ball in, and if it slides through, it's out of spec. And you'll be surprised how quickly the ball will get out of spec, but I think that you should change the balls at least every 2 years. And if you can afford it and you can do some tricks like I mentioned, then you could probably do it every year. But, you know, when ball sets are 5 years old and they're missing and you can't rack them, I'd say if you take out a magic rack and you can't rack the balls because the balls are the wrong size, they're probably toast, you know. But not to like harp on this subject, I've just seen so many great rooms lately that have beautiful equipment, nice layout, and they're just missing these really easy things to accomplish that would just be like, you know, bang for the buck wise is just exponential. You know, I can think of 2 rooms. I'm not going to name any names because somehow I'll turn into a jerk if I do, but they got new diamonds and they don't have the same balls. They don't have the same cloth on all the tables. It's just, it does not make sense to me. It's like driving around, you know, a high-end sports car with 4 donuts. It just baffles me. You know? Well, I guess I'll end that rant there. All right, so Tom Hood's feeling it. Again, Curtis has a little funny out going on here with the 9-ball getting a little weird. I mean, he should be able to make it, but he doesn't have to. And that's what I mean about 10-ball and just there's plenty of luck in this game too, even call shot, call safe. All right, Curtis coming with it. Curtis has maybe the longest bridge in the history of the world, but he gets it done. Yeah, we used to have one. I don't even know where it is anymore, but it's definitely an eye-opening thing. You know. Yeah, I do have some balls for a good price for sale. I'm not trying to sell balls, though, that I have. I swear to God. The ball sets I have are a little older. They're probably not even in quote-unquote spec. I'm just saying, like, you know, I've talked to Kerry McAuliffe before about balls, and he's like, oh, I can get you a deal from Aramith. So I'm saying, if your room doesn't have good equipment, let them know in a polite way. Say, hey, I think I have an idea for you. Bring it up to them, you know. Maybe they'll be receptive to it. Because someone told me they went to the expo and they bought the balls from the expo for $100. I mean, if your room can do that, I guarantee you the next year they can sell those same balls for $200 and actually, like I said, not even pay for balls over a year. And I just think, you know, small businesses will say stuff like, oh, it's hard because we're a small business. And it's like, yeah, I understand what that's like because I manage a small business that's a pool hall. But at the same time, it's like, you know, when your money's tight, you gotta use your head, and I think I've proposed a pretty reasonable solution for anyone. I mean, just go with the name brand. It's not hard. If you end up with a, you know, mid-range Aramiths, everyone's gonna be happy. So, and just, you know, cleaning the balls, vacuuming the tables, all that stuff doesn't cost anything, but really makes a huge difference in the life of the table, you know. I've recently done some calculations, and it's like, you know, you can get new balls every 1 or 2 years and change the cloth every year at, you know, maybe not at retail price or maybe not the best prices, but something that most people should be able to find a mechanic to do the price for. And you're looking at new balls every 1 to 2 years and cloth every year. And you're looking at $2 or less a table a day. And like, that's the cost of doing business. Why did they leave the template on the second shot? They probably just didn't care to move it. Sometimes people move it right away, sometimes they don't. It's usually a personal preference. Yeah, I haven't tried that Well, recently, just the other time for the first time, I took like a microfiber cloth and went around all the tables and just kind of cleaned them up. And I was a little bit curious how it would make it play, and it seemed like it didn't really affect the play at all. The only thing I noticed is that my hands were cleaner after a long time on the table. So I've been doing that like every couple weeks. I haven't experimented with low light yet, but we don't really get like crazy stains just because we don't have alcohol. Of course, I totally realize if you have alcohol and random people coming in there, it might ruin the equipment, but I mean, Snookers, for example, has all types of people go in there and they have, you know, really clean, great ball sets constantly. That's my that's me harping on that, I guess, for today. What was your question, Bob Berry? Any option to cast on your phone? Oh, okay, yeah. From YouTube, you can go to AmazinBilliardsLive.com on YouTube, and there's an option to cast from there. Yeah, I don't know if it's quite that easy, but Bob. Alright, so Tom's still in it, you know, and the scoreline, so often the scoreline of a match doesn't really reflect what happened in the match, you know. It can just be a crazy sick game. So really, it's all about getting to the 5 ball. 3, 4, 5, if you can get those down, you gotta like Tom to tie it up. He's gotta kind of just float this. I think he needs to be aggressive since he has ball in hand and play the 4 in the corner, not the side. I feel like he's gonna end up in trouble trying to play this in the side. Alright, so he's going for the combo. Oh. I think he should have played in the corner, honestly. So he's playing the combo. It's going to be hard for him not to get hooked on the 8 here. If anything, he'll have a shot in the top left on the 4, but he's got a big risk to get hooked or miss altogether. Okay. So that worked out pretty good. I thought he would have been stuck on the 8, but... And now he's got a funny little back cut. He's probably going to have to play this short side on the 5. And now that the 6 is gone, the out from the 5 to the 7 is a lot more difficult. But I did play Tom, and he was making a lot of balls, you know. He really was pocketing the ball well. His tempo seems good right now. Of course, there's a match next to him right now. So it can be hard to maintain a rhythm in a pool hall. I think, you know, just playing around people is a skill in itself. Finding that tempo, knowing when to shoot, be respectful to other players, like it's a hard game when you add up all these factors. Alright, is he gonna get there? So I think he thought that he had the natural line to come short side, and he probably just didn't. Or maybe he hit a little too high on the ball, so he should have a pretty decent safe here. The safe is going to be all about speed control. He's going to probably want to try and get him underneath the 10. Curtis jumps the ball really well, so if he does snooker him, yep, this is going to sell out. So Tom kind of not really getting the best rolls from what I've seen so far. Of course, sometimes that seems like bad rolls, but it's really poor choices. I think that, you know, his original decision with the ball in hand ended up haunting him there. And, you know, Curtis is definitely going to put Tom, you know, to the test. So I'm sure that's a factor. I know Tom told me that he was going to play Curtis. We were talking the other day about our match, and he said he wanted to play him a race to 9, and I kind of was like talking shit to him a little bit, part of my French. And I think that he was wise to change it to a race to 7 to give himself a better shot to kind of put pressure on Curtis early. So I like to see players, you know, they want to play even, but they don't need to play a race to 100 to prove anything. You can still like make a smart game. And I think a lot of players miss that factor as well. Not sure who's watching. I mean, we got 25 viewers, not terrible. 25 people listen to me drone on, so that's kind of impressive. And what do you know? Curtis has got a funny one here. Is he going to bank this or cut it in the side? Looks like he's going for the bank. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't have to go in. Could just be a way different score line right now. The one bad part about a race to 7 is, of course, it's a catch-22, right? Like, Tom feels like he's only going to get 2 to tie it up and 5 to win, but if Curtis gets 2 more real quick, now all of a sudden Curtis can win really fast. So I like the pressure that a race to 7 provides for, you know, mid 500s to 600 players where the guy's never really out of it, but you can't get such a big lead where the guy feels run over and, you know, you still have to play good the whole time. All right, Curtis leaves in Tom. A runnable rack. I think the big problem here, like I always mention in 10 ball, is it always seems to be the 1, 2, 3 are just extremely difficult. And if you can get those balls down, you have a great chance to run the rack. You could bump the 3 right now and really open things up, but that would maybe hook him on the 4. So I missed it altogether. Well, he left it, so Curtis is going to have to play the 3 in the side or play like a triple combo. So let's see what happens here. This is obviously a huge game for Tom. I think Tom's going to be feeling it if he doesn't win this rack. Alright. So even here with the ball in hand, even with ball in hand, it can be a little tricky, you know? Curtis is going to have to draw straight back to play the 3 in the corner, and then he's still going to have to play probably a combination. And yeah, let's see what he does, unless he's playing the triple combo, which I don't recommend at all. Alright. He might choose to bump the 4 ball here, or he might just power draw it. I know personally I'm probably not drawing this ball, but I know Curtis likes to draw the ball, so let's see what he does. Alright, he went around. That's a really nice shot. Now he's got a good angle here to make sure he comes and keeps the cue ball similar to where it is now. And that should leave him a shot on the 4 ball, assuming he hits the right of the 6 ball. If he doesn't, he's probably going to be in trouble. Wow, he chose the bank over the combination, and I think that was a really poor choice. The only reason I can imagine he did that, looking at closer at the screen, is that the 6 might be frozen to the rail, which would make that combo way harder. Of course, now Tom has the good angle to make the combo a bad angle to get on the 4 after. But he played at perfect speed, and he's going to give himself a chance to get out here. All right, it's pretty good. He probably wanted to come down a hair more, but he has a nice simple angle to just pot this. Get the second rail, leave a little angle, and he really needs to get out here, and he really should get out here. Yep, just undercut it a little bit, maybe worried about his speed. And yeah, seems like Tom is just frustrated overall right now. It can also be really frustrating when your opponent does this stuff and still manages to get out. That can just be defeating. Watching the guy kind of, you know, I mean, he earns the out by shooting the hard shots, but, you know, they're not going to get out every time like this. Oh, all right. So a little redemption. I don't even think Tom can make this ball. So that's what I'm talking about with, it's called shot call, save 10 ball, but Tom is absolutely getting the worst of it. I don't think he should have given this back, but safety is a little tricky. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I mean, wow, that's why you don't give that shot back. You have to play the safety yourself if it's even remotely possible. Will says, I've never been a fan of gambling. I will, but not often. I'm a huge fan of gambling because I think that it's one more way to put pressure on yourself in pool, and I feel like in pool, yeah, I agree with you, Will. Maybe he had the safety in mind for the side. I feel like, you know, a lot of players won't gamble, but they're really missing out on opportunities to play under pressure. And the gambling pressure versus tournament pressure is different, and you learn different stuff gambling, and I just think that it's just a missed opportunity to learn to play pool better. That's just my opinion. All right, there we go. The wheels are falling off. Tom's got his good attitude on now, but let's see how long he can keep it. Because he's not totally out of it, you know. Curtis will probably get out here, but I mean, Curtis isn't playing great. Tom's just kind of not playing good. And Curtis is getting, like I said, a little fortunate. You got to really try and keep your head on in the chair and be like, why am I losing? Am I losing because the guy's playing like SVB on me, or am I playing bad? Are the rolls a little funny, you know? I'm not saying that you're not going to put pressure on yourself just playing. I'm just saying learning to deal with the pressure. You know, I mean, there's not too many times where you play a guy for funsies and like everyone's trying their hardest. So that's another factor about the gambling. Like, you kind of play for the money to make sure the guy's really playing his game, you know. No one's trying to lose, you know, $300. That's how you know he's not he's not rolling over on you. That's just how I look at it, though, personally. And there's some guys who, you know, they're going to play like God until you put $5 on the game, and then they're going to choke. So pool is about putting pressure on your opponent. And I think this is an often overlooked aspect of the game that's a very huge portion of the game, and it's just doesn't seem to be talked about very often. That's why I think, you know, handicap tournaments are pretty good, because, yeah, the player is not going to, you know, play their best game or whatever against, you know, they're getting weight, sure, but they're going to learn how to put pressure on their opponent. They're going to learn what it's like to go far in a tournament. all those things that are hard to practice if you only play open tournaments. So I'm not saying don't play open tournaments, I'm saying play everything. See what we got for camera angles here, since I'm pretty bored. I don't really have them all set up exactly, but they're mostly set up.
You don't have to rush if you want to take a minute.
So I'll be curious to see what happens in the second set, you know. I feel like Tom should have maybe played 9-ball in this set, but just to give himself a little edge, you know. All right, I'm going to leave you guys here for a couple minutes, so I'll be back in a bit.
You got the first one. sixth hole.
Say that you may be determined.
I think I'm on that one. I'll play that safe.
Got it. Oh, that's not what I wanted to play. Safe. Safe.
All right, so I'm back. I want to play with some cameras for you guys for a little bit. Since I don't have anything else to do currently. I added a couple views here. And that should be a little bit more entertaining for me to sit here and do this for a while. Hopefully get some of the other stuff going. Maybe talk about the tournament we get coming up this week. Of course, I am working here at Amazin Billiards, so I probably get pulled away from time to time. And by probably, I mean I definitely will get pulled away from time to time. All right, so Tom's got a great chance to come up with a little lead here. Is he gonna get there? He's a little tiny bit awkward, I think, but he should be okay, depending on how he wants to come across. All right, that's good though. He definitely left himself tougher than he wanted. We all know that. All right, big shot here. I'd like to see Tom take a little more time with these 3 ball outs. All right, good shot. So we got this coming up this weekend. If you're around and you want to play, let me know. I got maybe a handful of spots in each event. We are expanding the 530 max to 32 players. We are limiting the 600 max to 16 players, and we're keeping the 660 max at 16 players, but we're expanding it to a 670 max. So I think there's like 2 spots in each event. Of course, I expect within the next day or 2 those will fill up since we're very close to the date of the event. And if you're just tuning in, I'm pretty sure Tom is down a set. And I think they're actually both practicing for the event, the 600 max. Of course, everyone says Curtis is a huge favorite, but maybe Tom wins this set and we realize that you have to win to win. You can't just win because you're supposed to. All right, so again, like I always say about 10 ball, it's those first few shots. We also started our, that's a nice shot by Curtis, but he's gonna hang it up. We actually started our Salado food chain list thing, if you haven't heard about it. Basically, it's a singles league. And that's why some of the guys are here tonight. Tom played me in the 8-ball tonight. We played for first and second. I managed to hold on to first place by a thread. And there's some other guys here. You might be able to see these two guys over here to the left. They're playing, or they played a match and now they're just playing pool to play pool. And yeah, so if you're interested, you can contact me and I can tell you about it. And it's not on a specific day or anything like that. You and your opponents pick a day that you're both available from the time slots that we have available to pick from. And you come and you play, you use Salado, and you play with Salado, and it affects your rating. So if you're looking to get an established Fargo or something like that, or maybe you don't have a league for the summer, or maybe the league format is too time consuming for you and you just want to play one pressure match a week to stay sharp, this is a good option for you. You can win prizes. It's $15 a week to play. A portion of the money goes to the house, a portion of the money goes to the administration, and then a portion of the money is going to go towards prizes. So that's how that works. Probably going to do a raffle system for the prizes to start out, because that's the most fair thing I can think of at the moment. And I've mentioned it before, I am open to ideas for how the prizes should be distributed. So if you have an idea, let me know. Alright, Tom's missing the safety there. I feel like he's just shooting a hair too quick. And I would, like I said, just like to see Tom take that extra 2 seconds a shot, like right there, you know. He made his decision. Just a little bit extra time. All right, Curtis is going to sell out here. No, he's going to get away with it. And I don't know if it's been happening the whole time, but every time I look over, Curtis is missing really good. All right. I think Tom should grind it out here. I don't see a lot of future in going for the shot. Let's see what he's going to do. All right, he went for it. And got a little favorable bump there, I would say. Well, I guess this could turn out good if he gets it down and gets a good line on the 4. Yeah, he's just shooting so quick, in my opinion. No. Especially on a really hard shot like that. And especially on a shot where you've opened up the rack. Now if you miss, the guy can get out. All right. So here, another seemingly straightforward shot, but it's actually got kind of a lot of angle, and you really got to watch your speed. You're going to go to the rail. If you do, you got to really kind of roll it in. All right, that's pretty good. Just chose to stun it. Nice choice. He came up a hair short here. So he can try and... I think he should honestly play short side here. Yep. Good shot there. You could go on the side if you wanted to. I don't recommend it. I think he needs to go in the corner. Alright. You can see the tables playing pretty generous / fair. Pockets are approximately 4.5 inches, maybe a smidge smaller, but it's a Brunswick, so the shelf's pretty shallow. He must have an open pocket here. It's not the best hammer angle, but you can kind of see he does have. There we go. And I thought he was going to draw that back, so now he's left himself extremely tough from nowhere. Maybe he was trying to slide over. I thought he would have drew back here. Well, I like that he's taking the time here on this one, though, recognizing that it's pretty tough. All right, he went for the safe and he nailed it, but Curtis is going to make this kick. He might even make the ball. You really just want to get out, especially at the 600 type level. You really don't want to be letting the guy back to the table for anything because they're going to kick it in or leave you funny. You just want to get out when you can. Of course, I don't necessarily recommend shooting low percentage shots over safeties. I'm just saying, try to get out. All right. So Tom's going to probably get out here and take a pretty commanding lead. And for this weekend, the races in the 600 max are 7-5. So, you know, that's what I mean. It's a short race. Players are more evenly matched than people might want to give them credit to be. And, yeah, we're going to see who wins this weekend is what I'm getting at. All right, so Tom leaves himself a little more of a challenging cut than he probably wanted, but there we go. So he's pocketing the ball pretty good, especially when he takes that little extra amount of time. They were thinking about playing on the diamond, and I think that it's a really good choice that Tom chose not to play there. I think Curtis would have ran him over on the tight table. No offense to anyone named Tom. You know, there's a lot of different ways to gain a nice edge when you're playing. And you can still play even and still give yourself a good chance not to be a dog in the fight. All right, so Tom Hood up 4-2. Or what is he up, 4-1? That's the score, sorry. Looking at the old one. 4-1, excuse me. He has a chance to run out here too, I mean. Pretty straightforward rack, no real problems. I mean, like I always say, and I'll continue to say, it's all about that 1-2, 3 balls. Usually the table is wide open after those balls. And in here, the 1, 2, 3 aren't even particularly difficult. I think he has a natural line and he can play the 2 wherever he wants. So he underhit that, but I think if he wants, he can swing around the 6-5 and get back to the center of the table and be okay. Or maybe he's choosing to go the other way with the cut because it's a little bit more straightforward. Big shot. That's what I mean about the table. It's playing, it's fair, it's a little tough, it's a good pocket size. You know? That ball might have fallen on a lot of tables, but not here. Yet again, if you gotta move the cue ball, you can still get it done. I honestly think this table is playing fantastic. Personally, I wish it was a little tighter, but I think for the tournaments and all that stuff, the pocket size on this table is great, 4.5 inches. And this one gets a little more play than some of the others, so cloth is a little bit less slidey, so like I said, plays really nice. Curtis leaving himself tree-topped out of absolutely nowhere. Yep. I think he should put him back in. I don't think Tom should shoot this ball given the scoreline. Given the scoreline and how hard it can be to get on the 9 from here, you have to really spin this ball and miss the 9, and then miss the 9 and get a shot on the side. Like, should be playing safe across bank or giving it back. That's my opinion on this shot at Tom's level. All right, he said, I'll show you my level. But this is what I mean, like, I guess he had more of a piece of the 9 than I realized, so he could come underneath it, but if he had to go above it, that would have been really, really tough. Letting the cue ball run a bit there. Is he gonna get away with it? All right, so nice out here from Tom. Hopefully he gets this down. I don't want to jinx a guy or anything. All right, so I guess I was wrong there. I did not realize he would be able to see the 9 coming under it, which made the shot a lot more makeable. I think if you have to come above that shot, it's infinitely harder. And they're not playing for funsies, they are playing for cash here. So I think they're playing for 50 bucks a set. Tom's down a set, so both players are in position to have $100 or less in their pocket if they lose this set. So it is for some money. 100 bucks isn't nothing. You might play a tournament all day and not win 100 bucks. All right, well, you see the 8 here. It's kind of all tied up, so it's going to be a little tricky for Curtis to get out even if he does make this, so I think we're going to see a safe. Oh, yeah, okay, it was safe, I assume. Oh, not very safe one, but it was an attempt. All right. Now, given where the 4 ball is, I think Tom should try to be aggressive here and play short side position on the 2 ball. Looks like he's going to try and stun it up there. I think he's just going to try and draw straight over there to short side. Or he's going to break it up. Let's see. All right, so he chose my shot, like I said, and he overhit it. Got away from him there. It's actually a pretty challenging shot to stun perfectly in there. He left himself a little edge, so that's fortunate. Oh, wow. All right, is he going to get lucky with the 4 ball? It's debatable. It could be helping him, or it could be allowing the 5-10 to get broken out. So, let's see what happens. And this is, I mean, this is such a huge game. If Tom can get on the hill here, I don't really see much redemption for Curtis. Of course, anything can happen, especially if you do that. But Curtis is going to get his jump cue out. And like I mentioned earlier, Curtis is jumping the ball really well, so don't be too surprised if he happens to make it. It doesn't surprise me that he hit it at all. He calls it, and does he get safe? I could see Tom being overly aggressive here and banking this ball when he really should play to win from here and really try and grind this game out. It's almost like I know Tom's game. You know Curtis is playing a safe here. He's probably going to tap it, leave the 5 ball in the way of the 4, and put the cue ball behind the 10. That's my guess. You want to hit this ball full, soft, with outside English. He decided no English at all. I disagree with his choice. I think you need to hit it with the spin and hit it full to kind of get that 4 ball to lengthen up and the cue ball to lengthen up as well. All right. Tom needs to recognize the score and try and like really grind out. You know, he had a good chance to play a safe, get ball in hand, and run out the rack to get on the hill with a massive lead. Curtis isn't playing great right this second, which is good also, but you know, if he can get on the hill and Curtis needs to win 6, he's basically a lock to win first. Curtis could come back from here, you know. All right, he's gonna get a little love. Not really, he basically leaves Curtis. Well, it's a bit of a shot, so. I like Curtis to make this. Yep, good shot there. All right, so Curtis kind of came with a pretty good out there to stay alive. Like I said, Tom has a lot of chances to make it to the hill before Curtis and put a lot of pressure on him, but he needs to get to the hill within the next 2 games, in my opinion. I think Tom's taking a break for a second, and I'm going to take a moment myself. If you guys are interested in playing this tournament this weekend, message me soon. We only have a couple spots left in each division, if that's even true still. Be right back.
nothing free around here. I'm sure I like that one. Yep, we'll see ya.
All right, I'm not sure who's at the table. Let's see, this camera will tell me. Looks like they're both taking a break. Not sure who's at the table. I think it must be Curtis. So he's looking around like, where's Tom? So Curtis has a pretty tough out here to keep Tom off the hill. And again, if you guys don't know, they're practicing for this tournament this weekend. We got a couple of spots left in the 600 max. And hell, if Tom Hood can beat Curtis in a set 7, so can you. So you should probably play. That's my pitch. Hello, Don Hunter. And hello, anybody else watching. Honestly glad that they showed up to play because usually Mondays are pretty boring, and I'm all pooled out for the past week. I played more pool in the last week than I have ever. Wow, so he called safe? Did he call safe? Couldn't hear what he said. I can't imagine he's playing safe here, unless he really has a nice angle to roll up on it. We'll find out in a second. Wow, so he just had that good angle to roll up on it. I feel like he should have just shot the ball there if he was going to leave it that close. And I honestly think that Tom should consider kicking this ball over jumping it, but we'll find out what happens. What do I know? I don't know anything. I'm just calling all the shots wrong today. But, well, he didn't get much of a reward. I like the APA safe here, personally. If you don't know what the APA safe is, it's when you roll up on the ball. Let's see what he chooses. I think he's going to bank it. Oh, he would. Come on, Tom. How's the speed? Terrible? Not terrible? It's okay. He leaves a pretty straightforward bank here. It's actually that little bit of an off angle where all you have to do is hammer it to straighten it out. So I like Curtis to make this. He's measuring it out. Yeah, he's calling the bank. Shocker. He didn't hammer it though, and I think if he had, he would have made it. He really hit that a lot softer than I think he should have to straighten it out. Of course, he did leave Tom long, but I don't know. Tom's been coming with some shots. He's feeling it, so huge shot here, massive shot. These are the type that if you miss them, they eat away at you for the next 3 games as you watch the guy tie the set. And if you make it, you win. All right, so Tom's obviously feeling good. I used to play League with Tom. I've played Tom in gambling 100 times, playing one pocket and all stuff. I've known Tom for years, and I know his game pretty well, so this is definitely a tempo that he's capable of shooting well at. It's just once in a while he overdoes it with this tempo. So looks like he found his his balance from the first set. And if you guys are watching on Facebook, you can watch on YouTube and a little bit better quality. So that's just a little pro tip for you. I'll be right back. All right, so tons of pressure here on Curtis. You got to play this with a little draw, I think. You got to hit it dead perfect to get a shot on the 4. It's easy to get away from you. See what I mean? Even if he made it, that 5 ball, the 4 ball wasn't even guaranteed. Just because of the path of the cue ball here, it's really tough to get up and down on the 5. I don't hate Tom playing a safe. Well, he played a safe, so you must recognize he's in a good position to win. It's okay though, I mean, just because of how hard it is to get on the 5 here, and he blocked the pocket a little bit with the 9 ball. He got a little fortunate. It's going to leave an edge, I think. Maybe even a whole ball. Well, Tom should be able to play a pretty good thin safe here, or stop it and send it back up to the corner he's at. Alright, shows something different. I think he just, you know, I like that he's trying to feel the rhythm, but man, just a couple extra seconds on these shots, and I think he's just going to execute them so much better. The good news is he has quite a few games to figure it out. And Curtis just doesn't seem to be playing like really great right now. And that's what I talk about with the scoreline and pressure. Like, I bet Curtis makes that ball if it's a different scoreline. You know, putting the pressure on the guy just makes the shots so much harder. All right, straight draw, needs to leave a little angle. If he can get back to where he is now, that's perfect. Great shot. And you see what I mean, where the table, it's not sloppy, but it's not going to rob you if you hit it a little fat. Gonna end right on the rail for a bit of a tester. Should be fine, but does make it a little bit more challenging. Ooh, gets it down. All right, so Curtis is chipping away here, but he still needs to win 4 on the trot. Really like to see Tom, you know, like I said, just slow down a bit, play a good safety, and get it done here. He's at the machine getting a Red Bull, so that could be a good or bad sign. If there was going to be any player in the world sponsored by Red Bull, it would probably be Tom. Alright, safe leak down him a bit. Just getting from the 1 to the 2 is going to be pretty challenging. Yeah, I was asking a lot. I'm sure Curtis feels like he's in the position where he just has to shoot everything, but you can feel like that sometimes, but it's not usually the best way to grind it back. Kind of surprised Curtis hasn't made a couple of these just because he's been jumping really well lately. But they are very difficult shots. Alright, just gotta watch your speed on a shot like this. Yep. Alright, you got a little lucky to leave Curtis jacked up. But it's not as bad as it looks from this angle, so. Alright. I thought Curtis would have been more aggressive with that shot considering it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Now he's going to make getting out the 3 a little bit tough. Oh. Alright, looks like some of the rolls are changing a little bit more in Tom's favor, but like I said, I really think that just putting the pressure on the guy is going to force mistakes and funny things to happen. So you can get the rail. Yep. Alright, he wants to come behind this and hit it pretty full. Oh, that'll work too. I don't think that's what he wanted to do though. Well, he made a ball, which means Curtis has the option. But, like I said, Curtis probably isn't given anything that he can even maybe make back at this point. 1 rail, straight up. And like I said, you know, 40, 50 points, a long race. I mean, the guy who's the quote-unquote favorite, he doesn't have to win. I mean, I played Steve Sutton last week, and I won the second set hill-hill. Like, he broke dry and I ran out, I could have easily lost the second set. So that's why it really surprises me when guys won't, you know, like there was Kevin Kiley, for example, said he didn't want to play the 600 max and donate to Curtis. And I was just laughing to myself. You know, and I think this match with Curtis and Tom, you know, kind of proves that anybody can show up and win if they just play smart and play well that day. And it's not like Tom's incapable of playing pool. He's a 560 who doesn't play that much. Like, if Tom's playing all the time, he's going to play really good. And he's been playing for a long time. All right. Tough out here for Curtis. Not sure what's going on with this whole 9-10 ball situation. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I think the 9 goes on the side, so should be okay. He doesn't like this. He's a little straighter than he wanted to be. Decides to punch it out like that. Pretty nicely done. Overdid it. Now he's going to have to draw straight back to the rail and out. And he'll probably get his cue ball a little bit below the spot or where it is right now, depending on how much juice. But it's missable. Nice shot. Got right where I said he would. And he's chipping away here. Not only is he chipping away, he's making the balls, getting in stroke and giving himself that much better of a chance to win every ball he pockets. Friendly bump? Not so friendly bump. I'm going to go with not so friendly. All right, so getting it done.
All the hero shots.
Good recovery out of that.
Good position, easy shots. That's
Thank you.
yeah, I just like to.
All right, Curtis with a pretty runnable rack. Is he going to get there? So this is what I mean about Tom really needing to try and just close it out when he could. Not letting Curtis, you know, get to where he feels like he can really win. And then, of course, all the pressure flips. If Curtis gets to the hill, all the pressure is on Tom to win. And he's just probably sitting there thinking about how he blew the set and blah, blah, blah. And it's like anyone would be thinking like that. I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we had a huge lead and now we're looking at, you know, losing. And it just can really turn ugly quick, especially when you're playing a guy who can get the racks done on you quick.
think going to 11. I think you win 11-9.
Not sure. I just know.
We're pretty close though.
Yeah, you shot really well. I can't.
Oh, yeah, I've been playing good lately.
Yeah. I can't believe
I
that.
almost beat him. You know, I mean, I stuck him on a hill. I had him hill to 3.
Yeah.
Or no, I didn't. I had him 5 to 3, and then I had him 3 to nothing, and then I did. I had 3 to nothing, and then hill to 3, and he came back and beat me off the hill.
He's strong. I can't believe I landed dead. Like I couldn't do anything there on that eight ball.
Oh, I know. It's just like
I
and it wasn't where you were just enough on the wrong side you couldn't cheat it.
Yeah, exactly. Because because there's a small pocket at that angle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, all you can do is make the ball.
Well, assuming by Tom's shit-eating grin, pardon my French again, I would assume Curtis didn't get out there.
Too close to the rail, and he had a little bit of punch angle, but not enough angle.
I guess he just got a little funny as I walked away on that last out.
He would have had a super short.
Yeah,
That's what I'm assuming.
I was trying to. It's just
Yeah, they must. Tom must have ended up getting that set.
Right. Well, you can cop it back out of the pocket, and you can jump the cue ball.
Well, there's that, but I mean, when you're using that much spin at that much speed off the rail, you can deflect and hit it wrong. Yeah. Realistically, I should have.
You have to hit it dead.
Yeah, they
I
must.
mean, I'm not mad with my decision to play for the side, but
I'm actually gonna watch
I
it
realistically should just play for the corner.
now that I can.
That's what I
that way, right? Rather than try to come around.
But it's like
I'm on
it's
YouTube. It's
literally
rewinding.
dead straight where I
Oh,
can't
he went for the side from the 7, from the for the 8, and what did he do?
played the corner like that and then just flowed
In my
down.
match with Beau, I had a ball here.
I'm watching it now.
And, clear 8 in the side, right?
All right, so he plays the. Oh, he plays the 8 and guts on the wrong side of the 9 and leaves himself a tough 10. And what does he do with the 10? He hangs it basically.
Perfect to land great on the 8 and then dead straight though.
He leaves Tom on the rail from a mile, but the ball's hanging, so it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, right there.
Oh, I wonder if they're gonna play again. Oh, there you go. Tom breaks even in 2 sets with the guy who allegedly is stealing, and over the course of the 2 sets, Curtis was only in the lead by like a game or 2. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
he and Curtis is probably sick because he felt like he was coming back, but that's what happens when you let the guy get a huge lead on you, you know.
That's crazy. Like I could have hit that anyway.
And that's why you scared 550s from Connecticut.
That's literally.
I'm just kidding. Half kidding. Should sign up for the 600 max.
I'm still happy with my mass.
Yeah, I mean, it's on camera. You can go watch it. That is a pretty crazy shot.
I've been hitting mass 8 pretty well. Yeah. But that one was like a 90-degree hook. When you're that close to the ball and you gotta get 90 degrees plus a full table.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a really good shot.
Yeah. I think crazy is the right word. I didn't have anything I could do. I couldn't really kick to it.
Yeah.
I would have been jacked up trying to kick this way. Like there's nothing here for me. I mean, it's the one ball. It's a complex rack. Even if I dog it, I'm still probably 50-50 to get another shot there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, good shooting. You really Was it Beau-Powers? Was it that guy Beau-Powers? Oh yeah.